Hello everybody, it's Sena, and in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to blend acrylic paint. Blending isn't so much about mixing two colors together, it's about transitioning from one color to another. So let's get started. So when it comes to blending with acrylics, there are two main techniques, wet on wet and wet on dry. So let me explain how each of these techniques work. Wet on wet is when you blend wet paint into wet paint. The wet on wet technique typically works the best when you need a subtle gradation. Wet on wet works great whenever you're painting some kind of sky, a body of water, really anything that is a landscape or background. Wet on wet is the most effective in large areas, but it can be a bit difficult to execute properly in smaller sections of a painting. Wet on dry is when you apply wet paint on top of a layer of dried paint. This technique is used to add texture, to blend out rough edges, add highlights, shadows, etc. The biggest benefit of wet on dry is it builds up on the layers under it. Wet on dry also gives you excellent control of your paints. Now don't think you just have to use wet on wet or wet on dry. In actuality, a lot of artists use a combination of these techniques to get their desired results. I myself use both wet on dry and wet on wet when I'm painting. A great example is painting clouds. You can start off by using wet on wet to create a subtle gradation, and then after that dries, you can use wet on dry to add more shading and depth to the cloud. Knowing proper blending techniques is only half of the battle with acrylics. One of the main difficulties of blending with acrylics is the fact that acrylics dry very fast due to them being water-based. But there are a couple of ways to work around this with strategies and certain products. Work in layers. Layers make it easier to achieve smoother blending. Layers help to slowly build up colors and values. It is a slower process and your painting will take longer to complete, but the results will be worth it. Color block your values. Color blocking in your various values helps you to figure out where your midtones, shadows, and highlights should be, and helps to build up layers. Color blocking is all about placing the colors first and then blending them together later. This makes it easier to transition from one value to another. Work in small sections. Working in small sections allows for better control with the paint, and it makes it easier to fix any mistakes. And last but not least, don't rush. A lot of artists feel like they have to work really quickly when they're working with acrylics because they dry so fast. From my own past experiences, I find that if you try to rush too quickly with acrylics, you can actually make a lot of mistakes and your blending won't turn out the way you want it to. Now, there are also slow drying mediums and other products that you can purchase to help in slowing down the drying time and increasing the workability of your paint. An acrylic retarder is an additive that you mix in with your paint to increase the drying time. Golden has a great retarder that is available at many art stores. You can also find it online at various art supply websites. A variety of other brands make retarders as well. Slow drying mediums can be mixed in with small amounts of paint to increase workability, extend the drying time on your painting surfaces, and help to create glazes. Slow drying mediums are also helpful with creating soft transitions and blending. Acrylic paints may get a bad reputation for being hard to work with, but learning proper techniques, strategies, and about products that increase the workability of the paint can really help in learning how to work more effectively with acrylics. Alrighty, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And make sure you subscribe so you can see more tutorials and videos about working with acrylics in the future. And if you would like to continue to follow my art journey, then make sure you follow me on my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!